Hi everyone, Babs here again. Point number 3 on the Voices of Freedom Black History Walking Tour, where we talk about the contributions made by the early black residents in Niagara-on-the-Lake. And here I am outside the Fanny Rowley house. Look at that gorgeous house. Here on King Street opposite Simcoe Park. This was built in 1886 by Mr. Salmon Rowley for Fanny. He'd come up from Philadelphia to Canada in early 1880s, 1881. He was an amazingly successful glass manufacturer down there. He met our Fanny. They entered into a relationship. Fanny was the daughter of Fanny Riley Wilson and the stepdaughter of our barber on Queen Street, Mr. Lewis Ross. So there she was with our Mr. Salmon Rowley living here at this gorgeous house. They had 2 little girls. Unfortunately, both died before they were 1. They're buried over there in St. Mark's. But later we do see that they adopted a young girl named Maud. And then he bought a lot of property here, Salmon did. He bought a lot of property on Queen Street, called the Rowley Block. And, lucky for Fanny, he put it all in her name, which was very convenient because in 1905 he went back down to Philadelphia on a business trip and he died down there. Never made it back. That left Fanny a very wealthy widow with a great deal of fabulous property to manage, which, by all accounts, she did supremely well. Very well. Sharp, savvy businesswoman that she was. Interesting. She would have been a powerful thing to work with, wouldn't she, back then? A woman in the early 1900s with that kind of property. She didn't hold on to it for very long. Her and the adopted daughter Maud eventually moved to Cleveland, and in 1913 Fanny unfortunately died, but Maud made sure she came back here. She's buried over there in St. Mark's with her 2 little girls. What's fascinating about Fanny is that she was also the granddaughter of William Riley, the freedom seeker, and you can find out more about him on the tour. And you think about that, the freedom seeker and then his granddaughter living in this house. And the property she owned, what a story. The other thing about Fanny is that when she was 13, on the first census we have a record of her, she was listed as mulatto. The next census, 10 years later, she was listed as African. The next census after that, she was listed as French, along with Lewis Ross's 6 children. Then in the early 1900s, 1901, with her husband, she was listed as English. Then when she died in 1913, Fanny died as a white woman. That's how history gets really confusing. And that's certainly how black history gets diluted.